Let me ask you something. Have you ever owned a watch that you almost didn't buy? Not because you couldn't afford it, but really because you weren't quite sure or you were maybe concerned about what it might say about you. That's the headspace I was in when I initially bought this guy. This is my Omega Dark Side of the Moon, and it solved a problem that I didn't realize I had in my collection. You see, a lot of watches, especially nice ones, are loud in ways that people don't talk about. They announce themselves, they invite opinions. Sometimes they spark conversations that you weren't really wanting to have. And then I realized something. Sometimes watches don't just tell time, they change the room. And that's not always what you want. I'm not trying to have a wrist competition or a flex off or anything like that. I'm just trying to wear my watch. So here's my take, real simple. I wanted something that I could wear to restaurants, to warehouses, to retail sales floors, to work meetings, to wash my hands, to fill up the truck with gas, to go to the car wash and wash my car. I wanted something understated, muted, but still had a little bit of presence and kind of was like maybe a little bit impressive and went with everything I wore. I wanted a lot of things and I wanted it all in one watch because sometimes when I travel for work, I carry one watch. It's just sometimes it's easier that way. And calm down here. And most importantly, first and foremost, I wanted a watch that most people would not even notice. It would go under the radar. No one would know what it was, except for you watch nerds. You always seem to know. So here's where the conflict part of this comes in, right? When I'm trying to decide whether or not to get this, okay, or what I should get to be my daily wear watch for work and for everything, is that I work around a lot of clients and I visit a lot of clients that wear some pretty serious watches. You know, your Rolex Daytonas, Sky Dwellers, Cartier Santos, and your AP Royal Oaks, Panerai, Tudor. They wear a lot of nice stuff, right? And I wanted something that was going to kind of have like a little bit of that presence to where when I meet these folks, I'm not going to be like causing any kind of stir, right? Because whenever you're in a room around folks that, you know, like watches or wear wrist watches or collect wrist watches, you know, it may not be said out loud, but there's this thing happening where people are kind of like clock checking and they're looking at wrists and they're seeing what everybody has on. And I didn't want my watch to become a thing in the room, right? I didn't want like a wrist flex off or any kind of commentary like, oh, it must be nice. I wanted my watch to be impressive, but not threatening. And I know these are really first world problems, but you know, when you are visiting clients and sometimes you don't want to walk in with a Timex. Yes, it lets them know that you're sure of yourself and you're confident and you don't need a wristwatch to tell anybody who you are. But sometimes it is nice to know that you have a nice timepiece on your wrist. And when you're talking to those people and you're having those conversations, you're trying to tell him where you think the direction of his multi-million-dollar business venture should go next and the right kind of moves to make. You know, he sees that maybe you are a bit successful and you've done a few things to kind of like let him know that this direction we're going in is years of experience and training and market analysis, and I kind of know what I'm talking about. As stupid as that sounds, it helps. Although complete idiots can also wear really expensive watches too. So how I landed on the Omega Dark Side of the Moon? Well, for one, the ceramic case, right? I am in warehouses. I do desk dive and I do get my hands into things. And so something that's kind of scratch resistant. It's a ceramic case, black on black, no shininess, no, sparkly stuff everywhere, no nonsense. It's something that was really simple and it made sense because the fact that I sometimes do get my hands, beat up and scratched up. This watch doesn't shout. It kind of just, it waits. It just sits there quietly and thinks. The strap, by the way, is perfect for how I live my everyday life. It's leather on the inside and it's cloth on the outside with a nice deployment that opens really easily and smooth. The watch strap conforms nicely to my wrist. I don't have any issues when I wear it because it's durable as all heck. And that's the key. I needed my watch to fit my life, not the other way around, right? I'm not going to try to tailor what I'm doing every day based off of the fact that I'm wearing a Rolex that's priceless or something like that, right? And that being said, yeah, let's talk about money, right? Because obviously, you know, an Omega Dark Side of the Moon is not super cheap. This particular edition retails at Omega for around $15,700. That's an insane amount of money. But here's the honest part that people aren't talking about. I didn't pay $15,700 for it. No, in fact, if you wanted to buy this watch brand new, you could go to websites like Joma Shop and buy it for around $11,800, $12,500, somewhere around there, right? And if you wanted to go even cheaper, you can get it used, right, from a dealer for like around $9,800, maybe around $9,000 used. Great, excellent condition with everything. And if you want to go even cheaper, like your boy here, like what I did, you find a jewelry store that's going out of business and happens to have one in the case, and they're marking it down even more. So you get it for pretty much less than half off with the box, with the warranty, with the paperwork, with everything, and it looks like it's been untouched. And why does it look like it's been untouched? Because the people that tend to buy $15,700 watches or your $20,000 Rolex Sky Dwellers, the people that buy those kind of watches, they don't always beat them up. In fact, it's usually not even their main watch. It's just one of their many watches. And they wear it, and they put it in a safe, and they put it in a case, and they hardly ever touch it. And then they wear it again one day, and they put it away one day, and then they go, oh, I've never worn this, so I'm just going to go ahead and move it on to the next person. And they sell it in pristine condition. Now, I could have gotten a Seiko Presage. I love that watch, by the way. And I could have gotten a Hamilton Jazzmaster. Love those too. Great watches, and great watches for if you want to wear them and you want to have it be dressy, but yet I can walk through a warehouse. There's those watches like that. Seiko makes great Presages that look like that, and I love those. But for $500 to $1,000, right? That's how much they're going to cost you retail, and maybe $250 to $300, $400 used. I'm going to get a watch where it's going to drop in value so fast I'll never be able to sell it and recoup anything. It's an expense that's just gone. And if I buy it used, it'll probably be pretty beat up because the person that bought that $500 to $1,000 watch is going to wear it and beat it up a little bit more than the guy that's buying a $20,000 watch who's going to baby the hell out of it, right? So that being said, I figured if I buy this thing for around 7 G's, then once I'm done using it for a couple of years, and by the way, it's been almost 2 years now, once I'm done using it for a couple of years, I can move it on and sell it and probably either break even or make a few bucks. And let's just say I lose money on it. Let's say I don't make any money and I lose money on it, and it cost me $300 over the course of 2 years to wear this watch, and that's what I've lost. That means I got to wear a $15,700 watch for $300 for 2 years. It cost me $300 over 2 years. I know this is weird, crazy, fuzzy math to do in my head, and it doesn't make sense to a lot of people, but if you really want to have a nice watch and you don't want to pay $15,700, it's kind of like a sitting cost there. It's an excess expense that's going to get recuperated at some point. As long as it's not going to hurt your bank and you're paying like interest and stuff on it, you're good, okay? So that being said, I didn't think that was like genius on my part. I just thought that was just being realistic. So to close all this out, right, you kind of got my take on it. You kind of found out why I dig it, why Roland digs it. I dig this kind of stuff. I like buying things like that. I figure go get the good quality one, the DJI Osmo or whatever it is thing you're going to get, the device, the product you're going to get. And someone talked to me. I've had this discussion many times with many people. Go get the best that you can with the money that you can. Get the best quality of the thing that you can because it's going to last longer. You're going to enjoy it more because it's going to have all the features and do the things you want. And then when it comes time to move it along and to get rid of it or to resell it or whatever, you'll probably get the most return on your investment. That being said, I want to turn this back to you guys and ask you a question. What is it that you have as far as watches goes that's your stealth wealth? What's your understated elegance? What's your one watch that you say, this is the one that can do it all? It can be dressy for work. It can be work for work and be tough. It can go out on the town for dinner at night. It can do it all. Is there a Grail watch that you want to get that's that watch? I want to know. Drop it in the comments. I appreciate that. And if you like this kind of stuff and you like these kind of videos about watches, no nonsense, real world experiences and stories, please stick around, subscribe, and check out my other videos, okay? All right, thanks. I'll catch you guys later. Bye.